Why you so
Women go through menopause, but men go through andropause. You don't prevent going through menopause. However, the symptoms, it could be lessened if you start doing strength training. I promise you that.
Every time you heard about menopause, I think people, the only thing they see, no period, low sex drive, no kids. And that's how
Yeah.
society actually see. I think that's the
And
reason
then
why movement don't talk about it much. How old are you now?
I'm 68, but I'll be 69 in 3 months.
68, you said?
68, I'll be 69 in 2 months. Yeah.
So you're gonna be 70.
I'm so close to 70.
Sorry,
Yes.
I know how you, but
Just scary.
listen, for you, this is crazy though. I'm so like, I see your workout. It looks like from the last time I saw you training, now you're training even harder.
The whole objective of getting older, you have to continue to build muscle. You can't just say, I did enough workout. This is it.
Yeah.
My back develops.
Let me see. She got the same size. Oh, let me see this. Man. So if I ask you like, what is fitness for you? Like what place do you give in fitness in your life? What does it represent for you?
Everything. Everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean that sincerely.
So thank you again. Welcome to Better Yourself Podcast. This is Fun Chris, and today I have probably the most download woman on my podcast, right? Her name is Michele. You guys already know about her. She came many times. We spoke about how to be fit over 60, and then we went to over 50, and I mean 70, I believe. And then we spoke about, why you shouldn't do cardio. I mean, she started talking about this kind of thing for a long time, but now it's quite trendy, and we see that on Instagram, on TikTok now. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, baby, she started talking about it ages ago. The reason why I have it back is because you guys asked for it. I can see by the number of download I'm having. So, Michele, welcome to Better Yourself Podcast again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you for seeing and having me again. And happy to see you.
Yeah, man, you still fit. The last time I saw you was what was it again? Oh, it's 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
And I know we shouldn't ask a woman, a lady for her age, but you have to ask you because this is the reason why you actually, I mean, that's your brand. Your age, I think, is your brand.
It
You
is.
are, how old are you now?
I'm 68, but I'll be 69 in 3 months.
68. She got a lot of muscle,
Actually,
man.
2
She's
months. In
fit.
2
I'm gonna
months,
post you guys her workouts as well. 68, you said?
68, I'll be 69 in 2 months. Yeah.
So you're gonna be 70.
I'm so close to 70.
Sorry,
Yes.
I know how you, but
Just scary.
listen, for you, this is crazy though. I'm so like, I see your workout. It looks like from the last time I saw you training, now you're training even harder.
Yeah, because I try to, you have to, the whole objective of getting older, you have to continue to build muscle. You can't just say, I did enough workout. This is it.
Yeah.
Don't go any further. You have to continue to challenge yourself. And there's all the different ways to challenge yourself and lift heavy. Does it
Okay.
have to be going heavier and heavier and heavier? There's many different ways.
So today we're gonna start with we're gonna touch about a lot of things, but we're gonna start straight away. We're gonna talk about menopause. So I see you talking about menopause a lot. You post things on TikTok. So I mean, I don't know about menopause. I'm a man, but I should know certain things, but I
But
just don't know
just
how
so
it
you
works.
know,
So tell me about menopause. Why you so
women go through menopause, but men go through andropause. Just so you know, it's not just women. We get the worst symptoms than men do, but men go through the same thing. Menopause is when your hormone starts declining. You enter perimenopause anywhere between 40, 45, sometimes even in your late 30s. I think I started around 35 or 37 years old. And you feel, yeah, everybody's different. So I just started getting some symptoms like a lot of joint aches, like brain fog, and I was very lethargic and tired, and I felt something was off and I wasn't sure. I was lucky enough to have a friend suggest that I go to have my hormones checked. And by the time I did, I was like 42, around there. But that's the age that women enter perimenopause, and that could last anywhere between 10 to 12 years. And then you enter menopause. For me, I was 55 years old, and being on menopause means that you don't get your menses, your period, for a whole year. And that means you're on menopause at that point. So what happens when your hormone starts declining is that you start losing muscle mass. In addition to all the symptoms that you get, people think it's just hot flashes. In fact, I don't think I got maybe 2 hot flashes. Perhaps because I went to get hormone therapy early. I went to check myself really fast when I realized what was happening. But everybody is different. You get hot flashes, you get brain fog, you get very tired, you lose your sex drive. 35 different symptoms. Some women get some women get others. In order to prevent, you don't prevent going through menopause. However, the symptoms, it could be lessened if you start doing strength training. I promise you that. I mean, I started doing strength training when I was 30 years old. And I think the reason why I went seamlessly to menopause is because I have plenty of muscle and, I was having a lot of energy. I changed my diet. So I didn't get the debilitating symptoms that most women have, because what happens when you get older is you're not as active anymore, especially that most women don't like to strength train. They do cardio, and more cardio. But if your hormones that start depleting and you become less active, is inevitably you're going to gain weight. And you don't gain weight because you're on menopause. That's primarily because you're less active and you continue eating the same way that you did when you were younger, which you can't.
Mm. Your
So
body
that's
don't
the
process
recipe.
the food the same way now.
Yeah, if I stop strength training and I eat what I did in my 30s, I'm going to gain a lot of weight. I promise you that. But I didn't do that. I changed my diet right away and I started eating healthier. I included a lot of protein from the beginning because I was lifting weights, and that made a huge difference. And that's what I try to teach women. The first thing that you have to do is change your diet. The second thing you need to do is lift weights. And
Yeah.
the third thing that you need to focus on is getting enough sleep, because your body takes longer to recover as you get
Yo,
older.
man, the sleep, that's my biggest problem. The whole sleep thing is like, it's not easy though. I think that's the thing I struggle the most. I feel like I come to the point where I have to force myself to kind of sleep.
Really? How old are you?
Me, I'm 39.
You have problems sleeping already.
So young. No, man.
I went through a period personally that I was waking up a lot, like most women during menopause go through. And then I started supplementing with magnesium, and I changed my carbs for a different time and it got better. I pretty much sleep through the night. There are nights that I wake up and I can't sleep, but it doesn't happen every night. So
Mm.
you have to fix the issue. You can just assume, women cannot assume just because I'm older and I'm on menopause, this is it, this is what's going to happen to me and I give
Yeah,
up.
I think people, what they do, they just embrace it. You know what? This is a time where we're in menopause, and I think a lot of women, they feel like the body is hot and anything like that. They be like, okay, well, this is just natural. I'm just gonna have to embrace it. It's painful. Whatever. I'm not a woman. I don't know how you feel, but I feel like it's not like a joyful stage, being.
Me-
So I think a lot of people, they focus more on the sex drive. When you talk, every time you heard about menopause, I think people, the only thing they see, no period, low sex drive, no kids. And that's how
Yeah.
society actually see. I think that's
And
the
they
reason why movement don't talk about it much.
and they don't move. These women don't move for the most part. I'm not saying that everybody does that, but that's what happens with most women going through menopause, perimenopause, and menopause. But I have this lady who actually had a call with me for my services, and she sent me a DM because she saw me working out. She saw me doing an exercise. I post workout videos as well, and she said, "Oh my God, I cannot imagine lifting that heavy. I should have stayed with working out 20 years ago." And I'm like, you can still do it now. What do
Because
you mean?
you start in your 30s, right?
I was 30, 29, 30 years
So you
old.
start training lifting weight on your 30s, and now you are heading to your 70, and you look fitter than people actually 20s in the training. So
And
it's
the
never too
reason
late.
why I look fit is because I never stopped. I never stopped. Most people go into a training program, especially women, and they maybe want to look better for their wedding, for their children's wedding, because they're going on vacation, because their children are graduating, and they put a certain amount of time into it, and then they stop.
Mm.
I never stop. I don't eat junk. My diet is pretty consistent. and it's not boring like people think. You have to enjoy yourself by eating what? I mean, I don't enjoy myself by eating crappy food. I feel better. I'm more energized when I eat healthy food. And I know I'm going to feel better and I know I'm going to look better. So why would I want to have a piece of cake, a piece of chocolate every night when the benefits of not having that outweighs the flavor that I got for that minute? It
Yeah, I
just
mean,
makes sense to me.
how many times a week do you train?
5 days a week.
5 days a week.
And I focus, just like I do with all my clients, I focus my workouts focus on what the client needs. I personally need to work more on my legs, so I train my legs 2 to 3 times a week.
That's really
So
good. Why do you train
meaning
your legs more?
because my legs are very skinny to begin with.
Man, welcome to the club, man. I got those chicken
Yeah,
legs.
I
Your
grew
legs
up
are
very
nice.
skinny.
You are strong with your legs still.
Yeah. So if I want my body to be balanced, I have to focus more on my workouts. Like my arms, at one point I spent a whole year without training my arms.
Are they
They
big,
just
right?
develop very easily. My back develops
Let me see. She got the same size. Oh, let me see this. And
my back develops very, very easily as well. But my
yeah, yeah,
legs,
yeah. I think you're quite strong. I mean, I see your workout. You do like you kind of like strong and your body fat. How do you do to keep your body fat that low? Because a lot of
I
women, what I realize is, as we age, woman. I was talking to one of my friends today. Is like, you know what? You used to train hard. Now you have like a family, you have a kids and his wife. And he told me like, you know what? I don't know what's going on with me. I cannot stay as lean as I used to be before. Now I feel like I'm just getting fat for no reason. I'm struggle to kind of like stay lean. So how do you do? Because a lot of women, as especially in Black women in our community, right? We we kind of like try to embrace it as oh, that's who we are, our identity. Because as we get older, and you're gonna see a lot of Black women, they start getting put on weight and weight, and it become more like a stereotype. And a lot of Black women as well, they start seeing that as a frustration. They'll be like, you know what? Why do we always get oversized and always get fat? Why we don't stay as lean as we were when we was actually younger? And I don't know if it's the food or anything. So what do you advise? Like, how do you do? I mean, what
it's
do you
the
do to stay lean?
it's the diet. If you're going to eat by feeling, meaning I want a burrito today, I'm gonna have a burrito, and then tomorrow I want pizza, you're gonna be fat. It's just the way it is. I'm not genetically gifted. I'm genetically gifted because I even when I was a kid, I didn't eat junk. I wasn't allowed to eat junk in my household. So when I came to this country, I went
Mhm.
pizza crazy. And I ate pizza for lunch like every day for like a year. But after that, I went back to my old habits, which was healthy food. But going back to why women gain a lot of weight, it's because they don't have the discipline to control their taste bud when they want to eat certain foods. And I'm not saying everybody is that, but if you have good program of macros and you stick to that, you're not going to gain weight. Also, you have to move. You can't just eat, and work out periodically here and there.
A
Have
lot
to
of people, sorry to cut you, a lot of people, when you say macro, some people that work out, they understand it. When you say micro, what do you mean by that?
macronutrients, which means you have to have protein, you have to have carbs, and you have to have fat. Most people think that eating healthy is eating a lot of vegetables and eating a lot of fruit. Yeah, that's healthy. Those are healthy items,
Mm.
100%. But you need to combine all the macros in order for you to get the energy and build the muscle that you need. If you don't build enough muscle, you're not going to burn a lot of fat. If you eat a lot of carbs and you don't move, you're going to gain a lot of weight and a lot of fat. So it's not so much being on a diet, it's a lifestyle. Consume protein with every single meal. Every single meal that you have to consume protein first, and then carbs and fat.
Do you
So
advise any type of protein?
I recommend animal protein because vegetable protein doesn't work the same. That's my opinion. Just because animal protein has a lot of amino acids in it, it has a good fat in it. It's very difficult to get protein from uh, from vegetables and legumes. For instance, like a cup of black beans has a lot more. protein than other carbs. However, the carbs went through the roof by eating a couple beans. So you're already having more carbs than protein by doing that. So when you eat animal protein, it's just protein. There is no carbs in there. Some have fat in there, but there is no carbs. If I eat a piece of chicken or even egg whites is just protein in there. You add some yolk and you add the fat. Whereas if you have a vegan protein, you get a lot of fat or a lot of carbs in it as opposed to balance the protein that you need.
Do you eat any oats? Because I see like a lot of people start talking about oats. I don't know. What do you think about it? Like
I
porridge?
do. I do. I know some doctors claim that is for horses and that it's not
Yeah, I
healthy
heard
for you.
about it. Like
I,
it really upset me because I love having that as a breakfast.
I don't stop eating oats just because somebody said that.
Mm.
I mean, oats is a very good source of carbs if you need carbs. I am one of those people who can tolerate a lot of carbs, but as I get older, it's not as much as I used to. I used to have carbs with every single meal, like a cup of rice, 2 cups of rice. I kid you not. Even a couple of years ago. Now I don't do it as much. Another thing is that in addition to changing your diet, you have to move. In addition to strength training, go for walks every day and you will stay lean.
Already, I don't think walking is enough because a lot of people walk. It depends on what you call about walking. Because a lot of people say like, I always walk to work. I come back.
Walking every day, 45 minutes, like 10,000 steps. It will
Mm.
get you lean. I promise you. It will get you lean.
It's better than cardio still.
Yes. Because if you do too much high cardio, what happens is that you end up burning your muscles. You don't want to do that. You work so hard to build your muscles. You don't want to burn them by doing too much excessive cardio, like most women do, like to do as well.
Yeah, but some people say like it's because of your heart. So what are you gonna say about it then? Because some people say you need to do cardio just to kind of like work your heart rate.
Yeah, but if you're lifting weights, you're taking care of your heart. You don't need to do high cardio in order for you to keep your heart healthy. But if you go for a walk, you're keeping your heart healthy also. It doesn't have to be a marathon. It
Mm.
doesn't have to be sprinting. It doesn't have to be an hour of elliptical. That's like the old way of thinking.
Yeah. I think because people just see the picture of somebody running and then you are out of breath, be like, oh, I can't breathe. Oh my God, my heart is working, it's pumping. I think that's the
Yeah, that's
mentality or the way
mentality.
people see it. They don't really see as when you lift weight, your heart is actually pumping a lot of blood as well. I think it kind of work the same way.
But
But at least it's
more
not hurting your
importantly,
joint.
yeah, but more importantly, if you're running, for instance, to get cardio, you are also hurting your heart
Mm.
because you need to have a strong heart when you do weight training. You strengthen your bones, you strengthen your muscles, you strengthen your joints, you strengthen everything. When you do cardio, you do the reverse of all of that.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
fitness changes all around. When I started training, it was cardio primarily, what was prevalent in the 90s. Actually, most people didn't even work out in the 1980s. But I was focused on looking in a certain way. I needed to lift weights. I realized through the years after that by doing that, it was going to help me with my menopause. I didn't know that back in the days. I just wanted to look good, you know? But by the time I got to be 40 years old, it's like I learned this is going to keep me not just physically younger, but more healthy.
So you can actually reverse the menopause.
You could reverse aging by doing that if you lift weights because muscle is health and it's youth. You see, when somebody who gets in their 80s, they lose their muscle mass, right?
Yeah.
Because you do from age 30, you lose 1% of your muscle mass. By the time you in your 60s, you lose like 10 or 15% per year. That's a lot.
Yeah, I've noticed as well. I know I'm not 50 yet, but as I'm getting older, I'm training. Sometimes I feel weak, but sometimes I feel like it's not hitting the same anymore. You want to get to the point where you're adding more muscle. Be me because I don't like eating much. So I'm just trying to
That's
force
why.
myself to eat more. It's like that's my biggest issue. Like I have to force myself to eat, but it's really difficult. Like I love food, but I'm just too lazy to eat, to be honest with
You
you.
know, when I was younger, I had the same problem. I was super skinny. I grew up very, very skinny, as I mentioned, that my legs were super thin, but my whole body was super thin and I had no appetite whatsoever. And when that changed is when I started lifting weights because I was exuding more energy. It made me hungrier. And also because I had a goal. I had a
Mm.
goal to look different. And in order to do that, I had to keep eating. You cannot build muscle without food.
Yeah, I think me, I come to the point where I feel like you can actually like escape it, but there is no way you can actually escape it, like unless you are taking all the stuff. But I just come to the point where I know like I have to eat because consistency in the gym, I'm already consistent. But when you train so hard, you don't eat enough, you start feeling tired and you start feeling weak. It's not like there's not a lot of benefit actually to do that, especially if you don't rest enough either.
Well, first of all, you don't have the energy to lift if you don't have enough food in your system. Second, you're not going to be able to build any muscle because there's nothing to fuel you,
Mm.
and by eating more protein primarily and carbs also, by eating more food, you feed the muscle to help it to help you grow muscles.
So, what
You just
advice
can't
do
do
you
it without
actually
it.
normally give to women who are on menopause, your client, when they come to you? Somebody's already like deep on menopause, is actually, it's kind of like put on weight already. So, he never been to the gym. Do you actually just tell them to go to like a diet or to start training straight away? Or like, what do you normally tell them to do? Because I know we're going to talk about some vitamin as well, because I
Yeah,
think that's
I
another.
don't recommend diets
Yeah.
because a diet means that you're going to use a certain diet for a certain amount of time until you reach your goal, and then you have to stop that. Then you stop that. You get out of your diet. This is a lifestyle that you could do forever. I've been lifting for 37 years, and I've been having my lifestyle diet, if you will, for 37 years.
Mm.
You work for you. You are eating for your body and for your health. It's not a diet. So I would recommend to change the nutrition to
Yeah.
eating healthier. I don't mean to go vegan. I don't mean to eat fruit all day. I don't mean to eat vegetables and salads all day. Of course, they are important, but to focus more on protein, lean protein, and then have some healthy carbs. I don't mean pizza. I don't mean pasta. I mean like rice and oatmeal and quinoa and sweet potato and cream of rice, which I love. All of those things.
Do you eat bread?
Huh?
Do you eat bread? Bread.
Only when I go out to dinner to a good restaurant, I just have a piece because I love bread. I
But
happen to love it.
what do you have as a breakfast then?
I have eggs, egg whites, and eggs, and oatmeal, and some berries.
There's no carb.
Oatmeal.
I mean, like, you know what I mean?
That's carb.
Yeah, I know oatmeal. I just struggle to kind of like having like oatmeal with eggs. I still want to have that crunchy type of carb.
So you eat cereal?
Yeah, but cereal is not really healthy. That's why I don't like
No, that's
cereal.
really unhealthy. You're eating chemical.
I don't touch it because it's not healthy.
So
So
what do
I
you
always
eat?
have I prefer to have if I'm having like I would prefer to have bread, like
Also, you have bread in the morning.
bread
No,
in the
I do
morning.
not do that. I eat healthy. I eat healthy.
I mean like brown bread. I mean
No, because the less processed food that you eat, I'm not saying that not to ever eat it, by the way. I'm not suggesting
bread. Do you think that brown bread? I mean whole bread, the brown one. Do you think is unhealthy?
anything that is processed is not healthy for you. And bread is processed because you have to take the flour and mix it up and do a dough and bake it, whatever you do. That's processed. I'm not saying it's bad. If I have a client who eats a lot of unhealthy food and comes to me, I'm not going to give her or him a diet that is going to be like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this, like super healthy. I would give her some bread, but I'm going to get rid of that bread at some point to give her carbs that breaks down easier. Like if I have a bagel, it sits on my stomach all day long. I kid you not, because your system has to break it down. But if I have something like rice or oatmeal, I am pretty much hungry within a couple of hours. Now, some people think that's not a good thing to be hungry, but if you don't eat enough throughout the days, your metabolism is going to slow down and you're not going to build the muscle that we just
And then
discussed.
people are changing the narrative as well of breakfast. Now people are saying like we shouldn't eat in the morning, we shouldn't have breakfast. Breakfast is not the best meal of the day. And now we have so much information, people are getting confused right now. I don't know what your thought on
I
that.
wouldn't, I wouldn't say that bread is the most important meal of the day. It's up there only because you've been fasting for many hours before that. So let's say that I have dinner at 6 o'clock, 6:30, and my breakfast is about 5:30 in the morning because I get up early and I get busy. So from 6 o'clock to almost 6 o'clock, that's 12 hours without eating, which is fine.
Huh.
But if I skip breakfast, we're talking about what? Many hours. So I have a smaller window for me to eat all the calories that I need for my goals.
On your
That
note
means
here,
I'm
yeah,
going
go
to
on.
have to eat larger portions or extend the time of eating throughout the night. I think breaking it down throughout the days is better for your system, and you get much better benefit. That's how I stay lean, and I do fast at night. Like I said, from when I have my last meal until 5:30. I don't get up in the middle of the night and eat something. I'm fasting. But then once I get up, I need all that energy for working as well as lifting and my walking, whatever I need by eating enough food.
Yeah, but I feel like what you were saying about like strength training is very important. I think a lot of people start realizing like now we do need to train, like lift weight, I mean, to build muscle, because I always say as we get older, our bones gonna need more like more strength. So if you don't have muscle gonna help your bone to not put too much work because the muscle is already strong. But if you don't have no muscle, you only have fat. Fat is putting a lot of weight on your muscle, and that's why when people, as you get older, or even young people as well, today they have like a lot of issue. So you don't have any like a knee problem? Because I know like people when they start getting that late 50 and 60, a lot of people start having like knee issue, bones, like my mom, her finger is actually hurting sometime. I try a lot of stuff. It's like the pain in one of her finger. Do you never go through this kind of thing and then kind of help yourself after that? You found some type of way to kind of get better?
Let me answer your first question, which is about strength training. When you do strength training, not only do you build muscle, when you build muscle, you burn more calories at rest. So when you lift weights and you sit around your couch for hours, you're still burning calories. You're still burning fat. Whereas if you do cardio alone, you're only burning some calories while you're doing the cardio. So that's important. In addition to that, when you lift weights, you have a better chance of breaking a hip when you get older. Most individuals, when they're 80, once they fall, is death coming after that because of the fracture. But if you're strong, because you build bone density as well when you lift weights, you have a less chance of having a fracture and being more independent also as you get older. You can carry your own groceries and you could go up and down, without issues rather than with a cane. There's so many benefits about strength training, in addition to looking good because it helps you look better.
Of course, that's the whole. I think that's the bonus.
That's the bonus. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
icing on the cake.
yeah.
But it has incredible benefits to do that. What was the other question?
The other question was about like the bones. Like if you actually experience any joint
Oh, the
pain,
knees.
a
Yes.
knee. A lot of people have like knee issue, fingers or something like. But some people, yeah. Do you have any
It's interesting.
issue that happen?
In all my 37 years of training, there was a period that my knees were hurting when I was doing leg presses and squatting. And I started wrapping it. And I don't know what I did. Maybe I was having bad form because training all those years, I wasn't perfect for all those years. And I don't have any problems anymore. I could squat. I have some lower back issues when I squat, but that's because I have arthritis on my lower back. But I still squat and I'm very careful how low I go, how heavy I go when I do squatting. But there is always a way to train. Even if you have an issue with something, you could work around that issue. You don't have to completely not train because you have problems with your knees. You could still do other things. You could do like extension for your legs. You could do a number of things. You could work your upper body. You can't neglect your entire body just because one body part is suffering for something.
Yeah. Because you say
That-
something like osteoarthritis is very, you say is very, what do you call it, prevalent with women
well,
during the premenopause, right? That's why you say something like, what do you
Even
mean
on
by that?
menopause, you could get osteoporosis, but men as well. But it's
What is it
more prevalent
exactly?
in women
What is
because
it?
you lose muscle and bone mass. That's why you get osteoporosis. Because most individuals did not, unless you're an athlete, did not focus on training. Then you have a poor diet, drinking a lot of dairy products like milk, which just leaches the calcium out of your bones. And then you don't strength training and you don't have a healthy diet. Yeah, you're going to have problems with your bones are going to get weaker. It's inevitable.
Yeah, you can reverse it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, with strength training and vitamin D's with K2 and some calcium, not a lot of calcium, and
I
eating
heard that
healthy.
calcium is not as great. Talk about the vitamin. I realize like now, I think people are more aware of vitamin. Before, when we used to train, everybody was talking about like, what do you call it, creatine, protein, and then we used to stop there. And then you have people that take like steroid and all that stuff. And after that, when you talk about vitamin, a lot of people used to just take like, oh, I'm taking my multivitamin because I got, I'm sorted. I don't have to drink a lot of stuff. People used to do that. Now we realize you don't, like, multivitamin doesn't give you all the benefit of every single vitamin that you have. Even the level of one like tablet is not enough for your body. I don't know if you agree with me.
Absolutely, because supplement does that, supplement your diet. It's not a magic bullet that is going to help you do all kinds of things, get you healthier and help you build muscle. It doesn't do the work that you're supposed to do. It's a supplement. So you have a healthy diet and you supplement with the main, or I call it basic foundation of supplements, such as multivitamins, D3,
You heard about K2? K2,
creatine,
I heard about
K
K2 as well.
with D3
K2
together.
with D3 together.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yes,
something like, I think it helped like,
absorbs better.
yeah, yeah,
Magnesium is very important. Creatine, I cannot take creatine because it makes me bloated.
really.
Yeah. So sometimes I take it and then I stop and it's no. Zinc is very important, especially when you're training.
I don't
Magnesium
really think
makes you
zinc, but I
sleep
think
better.
sometimes you have zinc mixed up with magnesium. I don't think it's, I don't know if it's enough or you still always take.
I haven't seen zinc mixed with magnesium. I take
Maybe
it
not with magnesium, maybe,
all by
with
itself.
something else, I believe. Yeah. With vitamin C, I believe, or something like that. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with that. And vitamin C is great as well. But supplements should be taken as a supplement, not because it's going to help you cure an illness or build muscle or anything. It's a supplement. Your diet should be first. Your nutrition should be first to be as healthy as possible. As little as possible processed food that you can have is the ideal way to go.
But I believe as we get older, there is some supplement that we kind of must have. Not must have in the way of must have, but I feel like this is some, especially if you train as well, or if you just want to have some, because sometimes I get confused. I know like we need like vitamin D, I mean, D3. We need like magnesium. We need like, what do you call it? Zinc, right? We need the K2 as well. So this is kind of like, but do you think collagen is it kind of needed as well?
Yes, yes,
What does it do?
because we lose collagen as we get older as well. So we need to replace it. I don't mean to go home for you to go home and make bone broth, but you could get a good quality collagen
Yeah.
supplement. There's a
Supplement.
little bit of help that you could get in different areas to help you age better. I'm not saying that aging is bad,
No,
but
no,
some
it's not. I
people
mean,
think
ages is
it's
good, but you just want to
misconstruing.
get late as you can. We can later than as you
I
can.
always said to age gracefully, and people misunderstand that. I don't mean, like Botox, which anybody can do it anyway, but you want to be feeling and behaving in a way that is more healthy for you. Like I said, you're more independent. You don't need somebody to push you in a wheelchair, but you have the energy to get up and go and do whatever you need to do. That's to me aging gracefully is, you know. And everything that is deteriorating in your body, you can replace it like collagen, for instance, like HRT.
What is it,
Not
HR?
hormone therapy for women who are going through menopause. Some people don't want HRT. Some people don't need HRT, but it will make you feel better with the symptoms that you may be getting going
So
through that.
is it like how do people get it? Is it more like a vitamin or is it like injection? Like how does
Is
it?
you have to go to see a doctor where he draws your blood and gives you a blood panel and decide which hormones are depleted, which is for women is estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, although a lot of doctors don't want to prescribe the testosterone because it's a male
Testosterone.
hormone,
Yeah.
but we do need it too.
But I feel like as a man, this is another subject that we now men are really obsessed with, like the whole Instagram and Andre Tape type of vibe. Men are really obsessed with being strong and being more like manly and energy. Testosterone, I feel like we don't have it much. The testosterone, right? So
Testosterone, yeah.
yeah, what do you think? Because I'm starting thinking about it as well. What do you think like we should do, especially men, if you know about men's, but what do you think we should do to kind of like increase it?
You could go and see a doctor, the same thing as women do, because it's not just for your libido, but when your testosterone is very low, that goes for women as well. You're very lethargic. You have no energy. You're just dragging yourself. You feel terrible. You don't feel like yourself. And I remember one point my testosterone level was like 3, like
Mm.
non-existent. And my doctor got a little concerned and I got prescribed testosterone cream. But some people, some doctors, they don't think it's necessary for a woman, but it is necessary for a woman. Now, again, when a woman goes to see a doctor to get her hormones checked, not all the hormones are going to be down to the ground. Maybe she might need some, but it should be all balanced. All should be balanced rather than giving a woman just estrogen because she's a female and that's all she needs. That's not true. She's going to need all of it. She may not need as much testosterone as another woman might do, but she's going to need all of it. She's going to feel better. Her quality of life is going to improve. It's not just about, her sex life, but her quality of life is going to be better because she's going to feel better about herself. So why not?
So you said something about magnesium. You tell her you take it like 2 to 3 a night before bed.
The what?
Magnesium, right?
Magnesium.
Yeah,
Yes, I take
magnesium.
magnesium like take two every night. Yeah,
Why you take it at night?
because it helps you sleep.
Okay. Do you think the vitamin? Because people always say that you have to take a vitamin in the morning.
No, I take most of my vitamins in the morning only because I choose to do so. I'm having breakfast at home. I put all my vitamins next to my breakfast and I take it. I don't want to have to worry about it whether when I'm having lunch, if I forget it, or dinner. But there's certain things that I take at night, and magnesium is one of them.
Yeah. So how do you feel so far?
Probiotic is another one that is very
Yeah, go on.
important.
Probiotic. Yeah.
Probiotic is really, really important to take. You could take that one in the morning or one in the evening because you want to have your gut being healthy. So your good bacteria is healthy.
Yeah. I think that's another thing that actually people need as well. I think the whole weight loss, I think, is a bit overrated, is because people are so attached to the food, attached to the habit, and that's the reason why they feel like they cannot lose weight. And a lot of people are frustrated. A lot of girls, they say, you know what, I have a belly fat, I want to lose it, and people feel like doing abs gonna make you lose weight, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. But also I think people are more focused about how many pounds they lose.
Mm.
They're too focused on the scale rather than how they feel. If you like crying because you're supposed to lose 5 pounds this week, that's not a good that's not a good sign. You should be working out, getting stronger, and what happens is your body gets recomposition. Instead of losing a tremendous amount of weight, where you lose the muscle without any workouts. So you end up looking saggy because your muscles are depleted and your body composition is going to suffer. We all want to look good, don't we? Everybody wants to look good.
Yeah. Do you still,
So
I mean, you go on.
if you start doing strength training, what happens is that your body starts shrinking in the right ways because you're burning body fat. So women have to start focusing on the scale rather than my clothes is fitting a lot better. Oh my God, I have a little thing here, little curve here. Oh my God, my legs are getting some definition. the scale might look the same. I'm not talking about people who need to lose 100 pounds, obviously, but people who need to lose like 10, 15, 20 pounds, they're so focused on losing a tremendous amount of weight overnight.
Yeah.
You want to look good and you want to feel great. And you do that by lifting weights, changing your diet, and recompositioning your body.
I think they're still scared because they say like, you know what, I don't want to look like a man. But I feel like the
No,
game have changed now right now. I think a lot of women, most women, they lift even more weight than men. I mean, when it comes to, but I know a lot of women lifting more weight than men. But many women that you see in the gym today, most of them, they only train lower body.
because we're focusing on the legs. We don't want to be all jacked up. I personally don't want to be all jacked up here. I have good arms and I have good delts, but I could build those really easily for me, even my back. But I want to be balanced. I want to look fit, not like a jacked up female. And
Yeah.
incidentally, like a lot of professional athletes in the United States, they jacked up their body, their upper body primarily. Whereas if you go to um, Australia or even Brazil, they focus more on the legs, which is the more attractive look, I think.
For women.
Yeah, for a woman, absolutely. You have to be strong in your whole body, and your body composition changes. You burn a lot of body fat, you build muscle, and you reshape your body like a sculpture. That's what you want. You don't want to lose 50 pounds in 30 days and look like crap. That's what's going to happen. You're going to look like crap. I call it like a melted candle. Not good.
How do you feel when you actually go and see? I know you got friends. When you go and see your friends, people that you maybe you used to work with or you to go to school with or whatever, how do you feel when you're around them? Like, because I feel like I don't know. Do you think I believe they kind of feel bad, same people? I'm not sure if you all of your
They
friends are
do.
so serious about the gym like you. I think two things I can guess two things happen. They might feel bad about themselves, and you kind of like they remind you about your age because sometimes when you see yourself, like me, I'm the same as when you see yourself, you kind of forget how old you are because society put the age on a certain way of looking. So you may be 69, 68, but you feel like maybe you're like on your late 40 or early 50. So how is it like?
But the first thing that people notice around me is they always tell me, like, when they're eating something, it's like, God, I was eating crappy food and I thought of you. I said, stop. They hear my voice.
Yeah, that's why
Almost everybody,
you got
almost everybody
identity.
tells me that. Do they go and join a gym and lift? No, that's very individual because going to lift weights is a little daunting, especially when you start. You don't think you're doing it right. It doesn't feel so good in the beginning. But if you stick with it, I promise you, if you stick with it, within a few months, you're hooked. That's what happened to me. I didn't like it at first.
Once you see the result, you can't change, man. You can't go back.
I was hooked. Whenever I got undressed and I'm like, I can't believe my body's looking like this. Do you think I'm going to stop that?
When you see your body, how do you feel?
No, I'm talking about when I started.
Okay, when you start.
Yeah, when I started, but it took me a while because I started in 1988 and there was no internet. I had to buy magazines like bodybuilders magazines and just see what they were doing or what they were eating. It took me a few years to get see something, but I was determined. And then I started getting trainers, and then I started getting coaches, and I see once I got a nutritionist, that's when everything changed. A coach who helped me change my
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Everything changed. That's when everything popped out, and I was hooked. Never went back. Then I got an education in this subject matter because I wanted to help women to get the same results I got. And you can, but you have to be consistent. You can say, let me do it for 2 months or 3 months, and then no, it doesn't work that way. It's a life commitment because it's going to help you feel better as well as looking better, getting
So I know
healthy.
you've been training for over, I mean, 30 years. So
37.
37 years. So if I ask you, like, what do you describe? what is fitness for you? Like what place do you give in fitness in your life? What does it represent for you?
Everything, everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean that sincerely. If I could tell you the benefits I got from this. I used to suffer from depression when I was a kid. When I was younger, depression goes away, self-esteem goes away. I could give you a number of things that will change your life with lifting if you do it consistently, obviously. No, nobody's gonna turn into a man.
Yeah.
Those people who are huge, A, they take steroids, B, an enormous amount of food. The bigger you are, the more food you have to consume to get bigger. So no, you're not gonna get huge like that, no matter what you do.
I bet people ask you if you're on steroid as well sometimes.
Huh?
Do people ask you if you're on steroid?
Yeah, some people online, like post like, "Oh, you are on this," and they could think whatever they want. They don't know my history.
Yeah.
That I've been doing this consistently for 37 years, and I don't eat junk. My diet is consistently. Now, some months or years, I'm leaner than others because I'm more focused on getting leaner. Like now, people are telling me, "Oh my God, you're getting so big. You're getting bigger." No, I'm walking every day, so I'm getting leaner.
Do you
So
use like a fat burn?
no, I can't. My body can't tolerate that.
But are you against it or are you for that?
No, I don't think it does anything. First of all, I don't think it does anything. Diet, keeping your diet good, and walking and lifting. That's all you need. I
Yo,
mean, I got leaner recently just by walking, just walking 7,000 steps, 8,000 steps, 12,000 steps. On the weekends, my boyfriend and I go for long walks in the park, and he got me leaner.
does he train hard? Is he like a gym freak? Your
He's like
boyfriend?
a gym freak. He's a swimmer. He likes to swim in the ocean, but he's going to start lifting again.
He got some muscle, right? Or is he like he got some muscle as well?
He got some muscles, yeah.
Yeah, be somebody like you is just like, but I know like the fact you've been training for so many years, you've been in the game for so many years, you saw the shift, the movement, how things have changed. I believe the information that you have before and what you have now, things are quite different.
Completely different.
And social media as well. I know like you're really heavy on the social media. You TikTok, you inspire me on TikTok because I'm trying to be more on TikTok as well. So how do you feel? How do the social media kind of like? What is your relationship with like social media, especially TikTok and with people? Does it kind of impact you in the same way, or you feel
No,
like
but there is always room to learn. I'm not one of those people who say I know everything. I don't have room for any learning.
some type of experience is the best? You know,
But because there's some people out there who also have been in the game for a long, long time,
Mm.
I could learn some things from them. I learned some things from them, but there's so much stuff being said that is like, oh my God, you see a lot of crazy things that, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing that.
They say about you
No, no, no.
or
Other
about other
people,
people. Yeah,
not
yeah.
me.
But what advice can you give to? I know, like as I say again, you know, you've been lifting weight for ages, and now you are 68. You look like you are in your late 40 or early 50. What advice to give to young girls today who are joining the gym and who are going hard? Some of them they actually starting the wrong path because they are taking some supplement that are changing the body. So, what advice can you give them today?
The earlier you start, the better.
Mm.
Because you're going to make a better transition as you get older. By the time you get to be in your 60s, 50s, 60s, or even 70s, you already built enough muscles. So you'll be good to go. But it will be hard. It's very difficult for people to be lifting for 40 years, 50 years. Not everybody wants to do that. Sometimes they lose interest. Conversely, that doesn't mean that if you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, you're done. No, you can totally change your body again and feel better than you ever felt before. But it's important to be consistent with the program. If you're not consistent, you're going to go back to your old ways and say, oh my God, this didn't work. It works. You just have to do the work.
And I feel
It
like,
changes your life.
yeah, and I feel like certain time when you are younger, you lift weight, everything go nice. You're
Yes.
building muscle, you're looking good.
Yeah.
But I feel like the hardest part is when you start like in your mid 30 and you start reaching 40. That's when you start like life stress and everything. That's when you realize am I really about this life? Like that's when things start getting serious now.
That's when they really, really need it and they stop. For whatever reason, life changes. Women getting divorced or people getting divorced and then they get sad. I get it, all of that. But at some point in your life, because when you're younger, you have to go to college and then you get married, you take care of your kids, you take care of other people, you take care of your husband. At some point, you have to start taking care of yourself because your body is all you have. Nobody's going to make you feel better or be stronger later on in life when you're not feeling so great. You have to take care of yourself for your own mental health and your own physical health. So the sooner that you do that, it's an investment, if you will. You invest financially because you have to pay gyms and coaches and whatever, and the time that you put into it. But
Yeah.
what you get out of it is priceless. Priceless.
Michelle, man, thank you again. Thanks for having you today, man. It's always a pleasure. Sorry because I went through left and right. I just trying to get as much information as I can. I know people gonna enjoy this episode. I might cut it up to make sure like it's gonna be a lot of segments. And one thing I want to ask you again. So, do you do pull-ups, right? How many pull-ups can you do?
I haven't done pull-ups for a long time. And the reason is because, like I mentioned, my upper body builds really fast. And I'm not looking to get my back any bigger than what it is. So I haven't done it, but I could do 10.
You can do 10
Yeah,
clean pull-ups.
yeah. I could do 10.
Okay. A
Yeah.
lot of men cannot do that.
But we all start somewhere. I mean, if you never do it, just start with assisted pull-up.
Women are quite obsessed with that. I think women, I see a lot of women in the gym, like they respect when they see another woman do pull-ups. It's more
You know what
like
I'm
that.
impressed with? I'm impressed with women, young girls, young women squatting with 2 or 3 45 plates on each side. That's impressive to me. Like I
Really?
could not do that at my age.
Yeah, but I feel like squatting is more like, mm, a lot of
Squatting
people,
is
it,
daunting.
it is, but it's like for men, for us, the way women see pull-ups when you see another woman is like the way men see bench press. When you
Really?
see men doing like, I don't know, like
Feel that way
150 or
about
200.
pull-ups. I don't feel that way about pull-ups. I mean,
Because you know what? Because you are one of them. You are one of them, right? You are the woman that everybody look up to be like, man, I wish I could be like her. You're already there. It's like somebody kidding like a bench press. He's not gonna feel that way because like, that's what I do.
yeah, I understand.
So, I gotta give it to you then. So your squat, I mean squat is like,
Uh,
are you more sumo squat type of person? Are you more like sumo squat? Sumo
I do
squat.
so much, but I typically do it with a dumbbell. So I could do 100-pound dumbbell and sumo squat with that. Yeah.
Do you train your abs more often as well?
Once a week.
Yeah, I start getting lazy with abs, but I feel like I need
You
to.
don't have to train a lot of abs. If you have a good diet and you train hard, your core, you know, your
Mm.
core gets in there when you train. So I'm not saying to neglect it 100%, but you don't need to do it every day. Twice a week is fine.
Okay, we're just gonna have to wrap it up today. We can't stay forever. Before we go, there's anything else you want to say? Anything you want to just like, anything that we haven't mentioned? Anything you feel that you want to say before we wrap it up? And then also tell me if you are working on something so people can actually know as well.
First of all, I'm just hoping that every woman gets on board, especially women going through perimenopause and menopause, to get on board to lifting weights and cleaning up their diets, and not be afraid to getting bulky, and not be embarrassed to go to the gym if they don't know what they're doing, because we all started there, including myself. They will be so grateful and so happy to themselves if they get on board to doing this, as they get older. It will change their lives. So I'm working in a few things right now. I have to do a live soon, but I don't know what day. I don't like doing lives.
Really? On TikTok?
I think Instagram is easier to
Oh, okay.
you get more audience than TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, I need to start doing that as well. But I'm not actually building my TikTok because I used to be more Instagram type of person, but now I feel like it's kind of hard because TikTok is like too much going on. I mean, you already
A
there,
lot
so
going on.
me,
Yeah.
huh?
There's a lot going on
A
TikTok.
lot going on, and you have to post, and then I'm like, I don't even know how it
Of course,
works.
the same things across the board. You know, TikTok, Facebook, um, Instagram, and Threads. Threads is the same thing as
And you start getting attention from people now, right?
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, for your content, I'm not surprised. For what you do, of course, people like what you do.
yeah,
And thank you again for having you today. And for people, I know you guys already know Michelle. I'm gonna put the link for if you're new listening to my podcast. I'm gonna put a link. You guys can get in touch with her. Her website, I believe she has, and also the TikTok. You guys can see all the tips, the video, the advice. And this episode is gonna be amazing. I'm gonna add some video of her as well. So make sure you tune in. Michelle, thank you again for having you today.
Thank you for having me. It was great seeing you again.
Yeah, thank you, man. Stay fit and stay healthy.
Thank you.
God bless.